Every experience we live begins within us. The world does not act upon us. It reflects who we are, what we feel, and what we believe. These reflections are not abstract ideas but living principles that reveal how consciousness shapes reality. By assuming higher internal states, we access futures that already exist. Imagination, faith, identity, and perception are not minor tools. They are the foundations of conscious creation. When we understand that there are no external enemies, only unresolved aspects within, we reclaim our power. And by living as if we already are what we desire to become, the world transforms in response. These words are a map, not to search outward, but to return to the only place where everything begins, within you. Let's begin. 1. Consciousness is the only reality. Everything you experience in life is a direct projection of your internal state. The outer world is not a cause, but an effect. Nothing in your reality exists that wasn't first conceived in the mind, in imagination, in emotion. This principle transforms your life when you understand you're not a victim of circumstances, but their silent origin. If you find yourself surrounded by chaos, poverty, loneliness, or conflict, ask yourself what you're holding within. External change can only be sustained if it results from inner transformation. This concept is echoed in the philosophy of Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and Stoic thinker. In his meditations he wrote, "The life of a man is what his thoughts make of it." Despite facing wars, betrayals, and illness, he found peace by mastering his perception and believing all power lay within. It wasn't what happened to him, but how he interpreted it, that gave him strength. Your consciousness is not a passive observer. It is the fundamental cause of every experience. When you become aware of a new idea and accept it as truth, the world begins to reshape itself to match that vision. This doesn't happen by chance or external will, but by law. Just as a seed contains the full-grown tree, your consciousness holds within it every reality you can manifest. Change your consciousness, and your world will inevitably follow. 2. You are what you assume yourself to be. Your outer life is not shaped by circumstances, but by the identity you have assumed. What you believe to be true about yourself at a deep level determines your decisions, actions, and ultimately your destiny. You don't need to struggle to become someone new. You only need to mentally adopt the state of being you wish to experience. When you affirm within, "I am capable, I am free, I am loved," you are shaping the outline of your future life. This is not a hollow affirmation. It's a restructuring of identity through awareness. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher born into slavery, taught that true freedom does not depend on circumstances, but on inner judgment. He said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Though a slave, he assumed freedom within. He did not wait to be freed physically to live as a wise and dignified man. His consciousness created his liberty before the world ever reflected it. Each state of being you hold within brings inevitable results. If you see yourself as a victim, you will draw more experiences to validate that identity. If you assume yourself to be powerful, the universe will respond to that frequency. Don't wait for things to change. Change yourself first, inwardly, through silent acceptance of the self you wish to embody. The outer world is only an echo. Your self-concept is the cause of everything you experience. 3rd, God and man are one in consciousness. The source of all creation is not separate from you. It doesn't reside in the sky or temples built by human hands. It lives within. the silent center of your being. That I am, present in every conscious thought, is the divine presence operating in you. When you affirm I am, followed by any quality, you are shaping your universe. You are not pleading with an external power. You are activating an eternal principle within. The separation between man and the divine is only an idea. In truth, they are united in consciousness. Seneca, the great Stoic master, once said, "The spirit of a wise man is a part of God." For him, there was no division between the human and the divine, but a permanent union based on reason and awareness. The wise person was one who recognized that inner spark and let it guide their life. This principle is not religious. It is metaphysical. It means the same power that creates galaxies is accessible in your consciousness, ready to be directed by your intention. When you recognize this unity, you no longer pray to receive, you pray to remember who you are. As you feel one with the divine, your word becomes creative, your intention becomes law, and your vision begins to take shape in the physical world. Life stops being a struggle and becomes a conscious expression of your essential being. God and you, in essence, are one. 4. Every imagined state is real if felt as real. Imagination is not merely a mental escape. It is the most powerful tool of the human being. In that invisible space, you begin to shape what you will later see manifested in your life. If you can imagine something clearly and feel it as if it were already real, you've initiated the process of creation. The subconscious does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. What is emotionally sustained in the mind becomes a seed that inevitably grows. Marcus Aurelius understood this when he said, "The quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your life." Although he didn't use the word imagination explicitly, his constant practice of visualizing virtue, serenity, and acceptance made him a just and wise emperor. His inner vision shaped his behavior and his rule. When you surrender to an imagined scene and feel it as true, you activate in yourself the same power that brought the universe into being. You don't need to see external results yet. You only need to enter daily into the state of the fulfilled desire. In imagery, in emotion, in firm intention. This practice changes your vibrational frequency, and like a magnet, you begin to attract matching experiences. Imagine consciously, not to escape reality, but to create a new one. What you hold inside is projected outside. Imagination is not fantasy. It is the first act of all creation. 5. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. Faith is not blind belief or empty hope. It is an inner certainty that needs no external evidence to persist. Faith is the conviction that what you've imagined, felt, and affirmed as true within is already fulfilled in the unseen. It is not faith in something external, but in the power of consciousness to materialize what it sustains. This inner state becomes a bridge between what you don't yet see and what will inevitably manifest. Epictetus taught, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do." This is a Stoic way of expressing active faith. Declare first what is true in you and live accordingly, even if appearances don't yet confirm it. His life was a constant demonstration of acting with inner confidence, without needing outward guarantees. Faith shows in your ability to remain steadfast in your inner vision, even when everything around contradicts it. It is the fire that sustains the image of the fulfilled desire. The stillness before the manifestation. When you cultivate faith as a natural state, You stop begging for results. You know that what you've conceived within is forming and will arrive at the right time. This certainty doesn't just create, it transforms. It lifts you above doubt, fear, and time. True faith doesn't ask for proof, it creates it. 6. The secret is to feel from the fulfilled desire. Desiring something from a place of lack keeps you tethered to its absence. The secret lies not in wanting it intensely, but in feeling it as if already fulfilled. When you live mentally and emotionally from the state of realization, your consciousness aligns with the desired state, and that reorganizes your reality. This principle is practical. If today you walk, speak, and think as someone who already holds what you long for, you're planting in your mind the seed that will flourish most quickly. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, taught that the wise man is content with what he has, without ceasing to aspire to the best. He understood that the key wasn't struggling for something external, but cultivating inner fullness that projects harmony into the world. Feeling complete while moving toward a goal is the sage's equilibrium. When you visualize your goal already achieved and feel anticipatory gratitude, you communicate to the universe that it's already yours. Your subconscious begins to act as though it's true, and your decisions start to reflect that reality. You do not need to know how your desire will arrive. Your task is to inhabit the emotional state of, "I already have it." That feeling is the language by which faith communicates. Life does not respond to your petitions, but to your vibration. Feeling from the end isn't acting, it's creating. And those who create from certainty inevitably see manifest what they feel to be true. 7. The world is your mirror. The universe does not respond to your wishes, but to your inner state. Your external reality is an accurate projection of your most persistent thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. What you see out there is simply the mirror of what you carry inside. Therefore, trying to change circumstances without changing consciousness is like attempting to alter the reflection without modifying the face. When you understand that you are the cause, you no longer fight the effects. You use them as guidance. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, wrote, "The soul is dyed by the color of its thoughts." During his years of leadership amid battles and crises, he understood that the world couldn't offer him peace if he didn't generate it from within. Thus, external chaos became an opportunity to cultivate inner serenity. Your relationships, your challenges, your achievements speak more about you than about others. If there's conflict, examine your mind. If there's lack, examine your sense of worthiness. And if there's beauty, it's because you are projecting it. The mirror doesn't judge, it only reflects. And its most powerful lesson, it shows you unflinchingly what you are holding as truth. When you shift perception and elevate consciousness, the world inevitably responds. Not because you force it, but because you reflect it. Life is a continuous mirror that can only show you what you are willing to see and sustain within yourself. 8. There is no one against you, only you, with yourself. What you perceive as external conflict, difficult people, injustice, rejection, betrayal, is merely a reflection of internal beliefs that remain unresolved. No one can truly harm you unless you sustain within you a vibration that allows it. The world does not attack you, it reveals you. And the more you resist it, the more intensely it shows you what must be transformed within you. Epictetus, who lived as a slave, could have harbored hatred or resentment. But he understood that the true enemy was not his masters, but his interpretation of his situation. He said, "No one can harm you without your consent." That understanding freed him before he was physically free. Every enemy you see outside represents an unresolved internal battle. If someone makes you feel inferior, perhaps you do not recognize your own worth. If another inspires envy, perhaps you have not accepted your own potential. The solution is not to change the other, but to see yourself reflected and heal that part. Freedom does not arrive when the world stops attacking you, but when you stop fighting with yourself. Then conflict dissolves, not because you conquered it, but because it no longer resonates within you. Peace is not conquered. It is revealed when there is no war in your consciousness. No one is truly against you. Everything is showing you your relationship with yourself. 9. The future already exists, but you decide which to experience. Time is not linear. It is a network of possibilities. Every possible future already exists as potential. You are not bound to a fixed path. You choose with your consciousness which one to experience. Each mental state is a doorway, and by holding it with persistence, you align with a specific version of life. This is not fantasy. It is law. Wherever your attention flows, your energy goes. And where your energy flows, reality is born. Seneca wrote, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." This preparation is not only practical, but mental. He taught living with clear vision, aligning thoughts with a desired future rather than fearing or resisting it. When you imagine a new future with emotion, you move your consciousness toward that scenario. You don't need to push anything, just inhabit the corresponding mental state. Physical time becomes the interval necessary for the three-dimensional reality to catch up with the frequency you've already sustained internally. You decide. You can keep reliving the past, believing your limitations, or you can embody a new possibility. Change your story, and you change your destiny. Not because the future arrives, but because you consciously choose it. Free will is not doing whatever you want without consequences, but choosing from which consciousness you wish to live. And from that choice, your life inevitably responds. 10. Live as if you already were what you desire to be. Transformation doesn't occur by waiting for circumstances to change. It occurs when you decide to act, think, and feel as if you already were that elevated version of yourself. It's not pretending. It's embodying. Your new reality does not arrive when something external changes, but when you internally assume a new identity. The world can only reflect what you have accepted as true about yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do every act of your life as though it were your last." He understood that the present moment is sacred, and change doesn't happen tomorrow. But in the consciousness you choose to maintain today. He didn't wait to stop being emperor to live virtuously. He did so amid chaos, from inner steadiness. When you live as if you were already prosperous, free, loved, or healthy, you create that frequency in your body, mind, and environment. Every decision you make from that state reinforces your identity. The universe does not respond to your words, but to your energy. If you act from fear, you confirm lack. If you act from certainty, you invite abundance. This principle is the ultimate key. Be now what you wish to see reflected outside, not as an experiment, but as a conscious choice. Everything you seek is contained in your state of being. Live it, and the world will have no choice but to mirror what you already are within.